some specific question about the cost of living, such as grocery shopping?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that's different for everyone, of course, but I find that often it's cheaper for like my meat and vegetables in Dubai than in the UK. So I generally will spend about 150 dirham a week on shopping, and I'm pretty greedy. So I spend a lot more than others. I don't eat a lot of rice and pasta and things like that. So I would say on average you would spend 80 to 100 dirham on your weekly shop. If you're going to like Lulu, hypermarket, places like that. Transport, lots of the students will be using our student accommodation, so you've got free transport provided. If you want to get around on the weekend, you're using the metro, and that's really cheap. You'll be spending between 4 and 7 dirham per trip. Not sure how much it is for a monthly pass. Does anybody know?
Metro.
It's like 80.
I've never had a monthly pass, so I'm not sure about that. Yeah. But 4 to 7 dirham per trip. The 7 would be your longest trip, 4 for a short trip. So yeah, if you're going out partying, if you're going out drinking, that's where you're going to spend a lot of money. Okay, make sure you only do that in happy hour, right?
I have a question. Maybe there is some special discount for students or people of the same fire?
For what?
Well, metro.
Student discount for metro?
Yes, yeah.
Sasha?
Yeah, now it would be the minimum card, it's blue one, and it has 70% discount to students, but only under 23 years old.
20?
Under 23 years old.
Yeah.
Under 23. Oh, special blue no card. Okay, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone, yeah.
Anything else?
What's the monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment?
Oh. That depends on the area that you live in. So the area that I live in is a little bit further away, about 25 minutes, and the monthly rent's about 5,000 for a one-bedroom apartment, 5,000 dirham. But that would be bills included. That's what I had. If you're in our student accommodation, you're paying around 1,800, 2,000 a month, and I've told some people, maybe not, we're not all aware of this, we have the jobs and accommodation as well as a social program WhatsApp group. Every day somebody is posting in there offering to share an apartment in the marina usually, or JBR. So those rooms are shared rooms often, sharing with 2 or 3 people. Generally they'll be 1,500 if you're sharing with 3, and then it could be up to 2,700, 3,000. You're getting better quality. There's such a range of quality and options here. If you really, really want to save, but you're happy to share with a lot of people, you can get a little bit lower rent.
If you say the room is shared to 3, 4 people, how many people are inside?
In the apartment?
Yes.
Again, can be very different in different places. I couldn't tell you an average. I've heard of 8 people in an apartment, but I've also heard of just 4, and similar prices. So probably the quality, the size of the apartment might be different. Like you might have a bigger kitchen, for example.
One bathroom.
Bathroom, yeah.
I mean, if it's 8,
Yeah.
If it's like a 2-bedroom apartment, then usually they have 3 bathrooms.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, 1 for each bedroom, and then there's usually a communal one.
True.
I'm in a 2-bed and I've got 3 bathrooms. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't need the extra.
Yeah, there's more often than not an extra bathroom. Yeah. Any
More questions?
James, sorry, I mean, if a student decides to stay for a longer period, and he find a job in hospitality, hotel, or restaurant, do you think there's afford to live here? And I don't say put some money aside, but just to go ahead
And to
and
save.
live it, you know what I
To
mean?
save. To save money as well, you mean?
Save.
No.
Can they afford a good
Yes.
lifestyle?
Yeah.
Yeah. With what kind of job? Sorry.
Model, I mean, model could be reception. I mean, if he has a good level, or he or she has a good level of English.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're B2 level or higher, then you're starting to get into a higher wage bracket, and there's a lot of opportunities available. Can they have a good? Is the question? Can they have a good lifestyle on that sort of wage?
yes.
He can afford a decent lifestyle.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't want to save money in the bank, but
Can they have a 1-bedroom apartment in Marina? Probably not. Can they have a shared apartment in the Marina? Yeah.
Yes.
They'll have a nice lifestyle like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions?
How is this to get a rental contract? for the apartment.
Can be difficult, yeah. It's a very fast-moving market. You know, some people, when they're thinking they want to move, they'll start looking 3 months before, and agents are not really interested to talk to you. You know, you want to be in the same month that you want to find a place. That's when you can start, right? So it's a really quick-moving market. That can be stressful. We're here to support you in this kind of thing. You know, if your students find an apartment, they will come and ask us about it very often. Do you think this is a good price? Can I trust this? Things like that. So yeah, we're here to support, but it is a fast-moving market, and the agents, generally, you have to communicate a lot with them very quickly, I would say.
You said that you are helping the students to arrange the CVs and do some practice to get a job. What are the main jobs that students can get, and what is the average salary or wages that they can get?
Yeah, depending on their profession and their qualifications. If they're highly qualified in a specific field, this is a huge growing area. So there's a lot of job opportunities in a lot of fields. If they're not qualified in anything particular, they'll generally work in hospitality or real estate. Mm-hmm. Okay, one more.
We do have a section of my presentation on this. So, yeah, he's stealing all my.
Sorry.
I mean, that's fine, to be honest. You can do my job. We do have a section on career development and career workshops and things that we do. So I will go through that. It's kind of towards the end. And please, any questions you have, we can have some at the end. And also, we're always here again. If you're, I know I've already spoke to a lot of you over the weekend as well. So. I just want international education. It's about visas, right? The access to countries, and it is probably one of the reasons why Dubai is becoming so popular. We know that, for example, for some nationalities, the UK is very difficult. We know that, for example, even now Australia and Canada are starting to tighten up their rules. So I foresee Dubai becoming even more popular. The one thing, of course, I always tell people is that Dubai is a new country, so many of its visa rules change, right? And also the English language teaching industry is in its infancy. If you go to London, you can throw a stone and hit a language school, right? In Dubai, there's really only us and one big competitor, and then some other language schools, but they've mainly focused on local students, not international. So I think it will evolve, it will change, visa rules will change, and we have to change with them. So we always ask for patience in those types of things, because the UAE government make decisions sometimes overnight, and we have to react as quickly as we can. But I'm just going to go through some of the visa types that we do offer. So students can basically come on 4 types of visa. So they can come on a visa on arrival and a tourist visa. Both of those two are short-term visit visas. So most of you here will have come on either a visa on arrival or a tourist visa. So visa on arrival are for those countries, obviously, where it's free, you enter for a limited time. Tourist visa, the same, but you need to arrange it before you come. All right. We've got long-term visas, education visas, and student visas. We'll go through them sort of individually. So the visa on arrival, again, this is for some countries, some nationalities where it's free. So for example, I'm British, we only get 30 days. Yeah, I don't know what.
Chinese get 30 days.
No. And some other nationalities will get 60. Russians, for example, and Colombians, they get 90. One country gets 180. Who is it? Mexico. I don't know why. I don't know how you did that. I don't know what you did. But you are the only country. 180 days.
Bien, ¿no?
Lucky you. You can stay here for 180 days.
Toca buscar el pasaporte mexicano.
So these are called visa on arrival.
Va a quedar 89 y cuesta el mercado.
And by paying, I think it's around about, is it 250 dirhams for an extension? You can extend it once by 30 days, and then you have to exit the country. Okay. So again, it's always worth checking. You can check Dubai Tourism website or Emirates Airline, and it will put the country in. It will tell you how long. So if students are coming for a short time, and they know they're coming for a short time, this is probably the best option for them. They can, of course, on any of these sort of tourist visas or visa on arrival, they can look for work. Often students come to me and go, I only have a tourist visa. Can I look for a job? Of course. You can look for a job, and if they give you a job and they give you a visa and a sponsorship and a contract, that's fine. Some people just come sometimes for a short time, they look for work, they don't find it, they go. And that's up to them, right? So we've also got tourist visas. Again, these are the 30, 60 days. There is single entry and multiple entry. We always make sure, tell them to check the validity of your visa. Don't overstay your visa. You overstay your visa, you are charged 100 dirhams every day. So it's very important that students leave the country when they're supposed to leave the country. You can also extend a tourist visa by paying 250 dirhams to extend. Next is the education visa. So these are basically very new. So 12 months ago, we were not offering educational visas. We could only offer the visit visas and the student visa. So the education visa is a 3-month visa that can be extended to 6 months. So you might have seen some of our packages. We basically have a 12-week package, remember this, 16-week package, 20-week package, and a 24-week package. So they can take then the 3 months or the 6-month visa. The good thing about the education visa is obviously a lower cost than the student visa. The downside is it is not multiple entry. So if a student leaves the country, the visa is cancelled. So they cannot go out on holiday and come back. If they leave the country, they would then need to come back on some other type of visa, whether that's a visit visa or a tourist visa. The other downside is you do not get what's called an Emirates ID card. So Emirates ID card is your national ID card that allows you to, for example, buy an apartment or to buy a car and register your car. So it is limited in respects of becoming a full resident of Dubai. You can work on an education visa up to 20 hours a week, part-time jobs. We have been looking into how students can open bank accounts. So this is obviously an issue. If they find a job, how do they get paid? They don't have the Emirates ID. So all of us in Dubai, we have an ID card. We use that when we want to open a bank account. And it's very easy to open a bank account in Dubai because they want to give you money. They love giving you money. They love sort of like building up debt, basically. So the problem is if you on an education visa, there's no Emirates ID. So we have been looking into it. We found out that banks will offer what's called savings accounts. You can open a savings account. It is a long process. It requires a lot of documentation, and it requires that you have money to put into that account. So if the students don't have any money or any income coming in, and they don't meet the requirements, they could get rejected. So this is very new for us, so we are trying our best to try and work with some banks to try and improve this process. But if they have a job, a steady income, and they meet the requirements, they can open these sort of savings accounts. So these are kind of some of the downsides of the education visa. We do also remind students that of holidays. It's always really important. If you book a 3-month education visa and a 12-week booking, you can't take any holidays, because what happens when you take a holiday is your booking then becomes 13 weeks, and your visa will expire before your course, and then you're stuck. So we do remind all students this on induction. If they have a 16-week booking, of course they can book 2 weeks, because it becomes 18 and they have a 24-week visa. And 24 weeks, of course, no holidays again, because you have a 6-month visa. And if you go to 26 weeks or 25 weeks, you will go over your visa length. Okay? So the student visa, this has been an evolving situation with the student visa. So the student visa is the 1-year visa. So this allows students to stay in Dubai for 1 year. They get an Emirates ID card and they become residents of Dubai. The process has become so much easier in the last 2 years. Now it is very much digitized. So students do not have their passports taken. They keep their passports. People get very worried when people take their passports. But it used to be like that. Same for me. I would give my passport. In 8 weeks, they would give me my passport back with the stamp. Now it's not the case. They just send it to you via email as a digital PDF. The students do have to go through medical checks. This is X-ray and blood test. This is for things such as tuberculosis and HIV. If the students fail the test, they usually go for a secondary test. If they fail the secondary test and they do have something, then they do have to leave the country. They're usually given 28 days to leave, and their visas are cancelled. So it's always worth reminding students of that. They then, of course, get their visa, and then they get their Emirates ID card. Which again, once you have a Emirates ID card, it means you can work 20 hours a week. Same as the education visa. Of course, you get that Emirates ID card, which means you can, buy an apartment or rent an apartment monthly, not a shared apartment if you have the money. And of course, they can easily open bank accounts and things like that. Yeah.
I have a question.
What kind of acceptance letter do they have to access the visa?
This I'm going to go through. So this is now where we have our study and work package, which involves English plus the level 2 diploma course, which I'll go through now. Yeah.
So if a person has HIV or tuberculosis, they cannot come to the country, if we know in advance.
Yes, exactly.
Is there any other issue?
To be honest, if they come on an
health?
education visa, there is no medical test. If they come on a tourist visa or visit visa, no medical test. It's really only for the 1-year visas. But even if they come and then they find a job, and the employer says, we will give you a visa, they will have to go for a medical test, and then they will be removed. So if they're coming for a short period, like a holiday or just to study English for 6 weeks, it's not a problem. But if they want to live here, it's not, it will be a waste of their time.
And I have another question. For example, Colombia, we can enter 90 days without a visa. If a person comes for 90 days and wants to stay longer, the person can go to another country and come back immediately, or how does it work?
There is what's called the visa run. It's the visa run to Oman. So you can take a flight, airport to airport connection, or you can take the bus over to the Omani border. I heard they were changing some rules. I don't know, Sasha, do you know much about the rule change?
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine. There was a period where they stopped people exiting the country through the Omani border. Now they've opened it again. So they can go. Do they have to leave the country for a period of time?
No, actually they can just fly to Oman and then on the same plane just go back.
Just
stamp the passport and
So this is like a visa run, right? It's where you go and renew your visa.
It's cheaper than paying the
Yes. When I lived in Chile in South America, I did it. I went to Argentina and went back and got a new visa. So it's quite common in different countries to do those kind of visa runs. So Oman is the best and cheapest and closest option to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
If a student failed the medical check, EP returns any money paid before?
Oh, that's a good one. I can tell you that we have in the past. We've refunded tuition. It's a very delicate situation because sometimes we're like, I think they knew. But obviously we cannot judge them for that, and unfortunately we did have one case, and now the strange thing is when they go to get their results, they don't tell them, they tell us, and then I have to tell the student. So I have to sort of break this news to a student, which is a first for me to give someone this kind of news. So yeah, I mean, it's very rare. It has happened, but it is very rare. Okay, I'm just going to go through the study and work package. Sorry, go ahead.
Student got a TV, so obviously I am afraid to send student if they have a TV. What your suggestion if my student has a TV?
Has tuberculosis, TB?
TV, yes, it's impossible, right?
They, like I said, they can come to Dubai and study English for a short period and go home. That's fine. But if they want to live here and they want the resident visa, they will not be able to stay.
They can just do the visa runs. It's easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same in South, I mean, I lived in South Korea. They have the same sort of system there, where you go for medical checks as well.
Is it easy to open a bank account with a tourist visa?
No, I think
No,
so.
no.
Although it depends. If you come and you invest in property,
They will open an account.
you have that kind of money. So a lot of the properties here are owned by people that don't live here. You know, they're putting all their investment money here, and they can, right? You can also get what's called a golden visa now. If you've invested in property or you are contributing to the society, you can get what's called a golden visa, which is I think it's a 15-year visa. So there are possibilities, but with a tourist visa, it's difficult. Yeah. Yeah.
Can students leave when come back with student visa?
Yes. Student visa is multiple entry. Yeah. We do sometimes ask them to provide flight tickets, because we do get students who say, I'm going for a short holiday, and then they never come back. And then we have to do out-of-country visa cancellation, and it does take time, and it does cost us money to do that as well. So we do encourage them to let us know, be as honest as they can about their situation.
I just met my Colombian student in GBS company, and she already has her ID card.
Yeah.
But her ID said she's
Not allowed to work. Yes.
And she told me that it's very difficult to find a job because her ID said that. So how
She needs to come and speak to us, because that's not the case. There is sometimes a misunderstanding. On the entry permit, it also says not allowed to work. What that means is you're not allowed to work full time on that visa. They can work part time. No employer would or should be employing a student on a student visa and making them work 40 hours a week. It is illegal. They should only be working 20 hours a week. If an employer says, we will give you a job, you've got to work 50 hours a week, and we are not giving you a visa, you can keep your student visa, the student should insist, you are my sponsor, I'm working 50 hours a week, you should sponsor me, you should give me medical insurance, you should pay my salary, and all these things. So really they should not be working full-time on student visas. Some people are, all right, and some companies are doing it, but yeah, it's not a full-time visa, that's what it means. Yeah.
What is the minimum age in order to work legally? 18, 21?
21. You can get part-time jobs at 18. Yeah, 18 is the minimum, and then full-time work is 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
If students just come for a very short period of training, like 2 weeks with TP, well,
Yeah.
tourist visa do they tourist
Yes.
visa will be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Tourist visa or visa on arrival. Yeah.
Actually, my student got a job here, and he ordered for how long we would just for the possible my student because they studied here already and got a job here.
So we can freeze courses for students up to 12 months from the beginning of their booking. Yeah, but of course they cannot keep our visa during that period. We're like, so if they find a job full time, they should get sponsorship, and then I'm going to have to stop questions. Sorry, we will do more at the end. I promise. It's almost lunch. I'm guessing you're hungry, and I've got a little bit to get through. So I just want to quickly go through the study and work, because this is the new package that allows students to get 1-year visas. These are some restrictions that were put in by the government. Basically, we were told 6 months of English and 1-year visa at the moment is not allowed. I think this is going to be rolled out for everyone eventually. So what we are offering now is also English plus our diploma course. Now we have students studying this at the moment, and to be quite honest, some of the feedback's been very positive. They not only are learning English, but they're also learning business. They're learning some very important business concepts, which I'll talk about in a minute. And the way that works is they get to do basically either 6 months of English plus 6 months diploma if they are pre-intermediate level, mid-pre-intermediate, higher pre-intermediate, 5 months, 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, and 1 month. If a student, even if they are advanced, we still insist they do at least 4 weeks of English and then the diploma. Okay. What this means is that they are then 6-7 months with us. The other months, they can keep the visa. We are not cancelling the visa after that program. But of course, what is really important is that they are attending their diploma courses. The diplomas are obviously a little bit different from English because the students are registering with Pearson. They are fully accredited courses. They get a diploma at the end. So if students are kind of not taking it seriously and dropping out, and it doesn't do very good for GBS's accreditation. So it's really important that the students understand what the course is, how they can benefit from it, and that they stick with the course. It is, the course is only 4 days a week at the moment, for 3 hours a week. We have, next semester, we're going to have evening classes, morning classes and afternoon classes. That means if a student is working, there's some flexibility for them. So they can do their diploma course, they can work, even if they get a full-time job, there may be possibility for them to continue. If you don't know much about the Level 2 program, it is what's called vocational training. It is learner-centered, it's very much unit-based, and it is very sort of student-centered, so it's about interpersonal skills needed to be developed. That's why you have to have a good level of English. There's a lot of interaction, a lot of communication, a lot of writing assignments, so there's no tests, so the students have to have a good ability of English to complete their units. It is designed, again, it's a Level 2 diploma, so that means it's quite easy compared to Level 3, right? Students can continue into Level 3 if they want after the diploma, or they can just finish the course and then continue their life in Dubai. Here's an example of some of the units that are covered throughout Level 2 diploma. I do tell students, I give them a presentation every Wednesday for all the new students coming in on this course. I tell them a little bit about the course. And one thing I remind them is, and we would all know this, it doesn't matter what job you're in, if you're a waiter, or you're working in McDonald's, or if you are a business person or working in IT, you're always working in a business, right? So you having a good understanding of business terminology, how things work in a business, will always give you an advantage. Even if you're a waiter and you understand how business organizations work, you are more likely to get a promotion. You are more likely to develop in that company if you have some understanding. Right? I was an English teacher for a long time. I didn't know what marketing mix was. I didn't know a lot of the terminology related to finance until I did my master's. So it is very useful, and I was 30